Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
So, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. I think they added the additional title on the back end of Furiosa just to make sure people understood exactly what it was. It is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road from a few years ago. Man, that film came out quite a long time ago when you think about it. And it chronicles Furiosa's early life before the events of Fury Road. She is snatched from the green place where the many mothers live, and the young Furiosa falls into the hands of a maniacal biker horde led by warlord Dementus, played wonderfully by Chris Hemsworth in this film. A brilliant character, brilliant character play with some really bafflingly memorable moments, but we'll get into that. From then, it sweeps through the wasteland in some crazed carnage, biblical story of revenge, and we do come across Immortan Joe yet again, and the battle between Immortan Joe, Dementus, the Bullet Farmers, and Gastown. It all becomes one big conglomeration of little bits and pieces that we saw in Fury Road, leading into a much more expansive, much more story-driven event in this film. It is interesting looking at it, really, that this film does play entirely different to the way that Fury Road plays. Fury Road is much more of a car chase movie, a relentless car chase movie. This, like I said, is broken down into very specific chapters. There are 5 chapters throughout this film, broken up with fade to blacks and such, and it plays more like a story, like somebody's reading or telling us this story of Furiosa's early life. It is very biblical in the sense of how it's put across, the prose. It's interesting. It's a different style. It's not one that I expected, to be quite honest. It kind of took me out for a brief moment. I was expecting, again, probably my own issue there. I was expecting relentless from the start, continuous drive right the way through, just like Fury Road. But this, like I said, it does break it down into little different story chunks. It's interesting that we needed to be shown who Furiosa is and how she came to be the person she is, how she came to make the decisions that she does, and we do get answers for all of that. People would argue, did we really need a Furiosa film? I was pretty much in the same vein. I wasn't sure we really needed a Furiosa film. If anything, I think we need a follow-up to Mad Max Fury Road with Tom Hardy in the lead again. But this film carves out its own little niche, its own little corner, and it does so absolutely perfectly. This film, once it gets going, once those engines start turning, it does not let up. It is relentless in its own way. It's relentless in story, it's relentless in character-driven action, it's relentless in pure, unadulterated revenge. There are a lot of moments in this film that are extended. It's interesting that when it does have the fade to black moments, we do have these moments of long sequences of car chases, of battles, and the battles are infinitely more maddening than they were in Fury Road. However, that does not necessarily mean that it's full throttle with all of that. It's very strange. It does hold back a little bit and sort of creates, a slow build-up before we actually get into some really maddening scenes. I'm struggling with how to really describe this film because I think it is such a vastly different construction based on what Fury Road was, and yet this film is in the very same style. It looks the same, the music is the same. Tom Holkenborg comes back as the score maker, and there are a lot of references, a lot of nods to Fury Road. Obviously, a lot of the characters do sort of fall back into this. Like I said, we do see Immortan Joe. He is played by a different actor in this because the original actor sadly passed away. But it's all part of now what is like a lived-in world, and I think George Miller has done exceptionally well to prevent it from being too grandiose, too out there, too expansive. Everything's kept within this very small area, so it feels anyway. This very small area of this land, this wasteland, and it brings it back to focus on this battle between Immortan Joe and Dementus. All the while, Furiosa's trying to work her way through, trying to stay under the radar, trying to create this identity for herself in order to get back to the green place. But even she gets drawn in by the carnage. She gets drawn in by, this sense of identity with Immortan Joe's crew, away from Dementus. But again, she is driven solely by this idea of revenge, furious revenge, as it is. I've got to say, I think the effects are absolutely brilliant. Like I said, the car chases are absolutely relentless. They look superb. There are some more bits of CGI in this film. I did notice a few bits that did kind of look a bit odd. Some figure distances. So with little figures in the distance of people running along the war machines, along cars and vehicles and whatever. In fact, there was a sequence where when we're in Morton Citadel, beg your pardon, and there's a girl, one of the birthing mothers. Good God, I forgot about that scene in Fury Road originally. And somebody's walking down the stairs, and it looks really fucking bizarre. It's like they've added in a girl walking down the stairs afterwards, and it almost looks very staccato, almost like some kind of vampiric figure coming down the stairs. It's so bizarre. I mean, it's a blink and you miss it thing, but I fucking saw it and it threw me off big time. So there is a lot more in the way of CGI put into this film, but that's not saying that it's all CGI. There is still a lot of live action, in your face, there in the moment, car sequence moments of absolute destruction, just like there was in Fury Road. And it's just brilliant. The setting, the pacing of these action moments, the destruction is next level. It's absolutely next level. If George Miller does one thing right, it's destroying fucking cars. He knows how to make it look brilliant. It puts fucking misery all over Fast and Furious for me. This is how you create car carnage. This is how you create unadulterated destruction on a massive scale using vehicles that shouldn't fucking work, but quite clearly they do work. It's mind-bending, and it's a credit to the creative vision of this world. The cinematography is perfect again, as it was. You've got this orange hue, this almost radioactive hue, and yet you have bright blue skies. It's incredible. You've got these characters that are full of life and colour, distinctive, creating their own little environments within themselves. It's a credit. The vision is superb. This is what visionary directing and visionary creation is in cinema. Story-wise, there's a lot more story here than there was in Fury Road. But again, we're not massively overhauled by dialogue. Furiosa herself maintains quite a reserved sort of gait. Everybody else around her is the one sprouting Shakespearean nonsense and Shakespearean language, making themselves sound like bigger warlords of gods and men beyond their stature. But Furiosa, like I said, glides underneath all of that. She gets on with it, she does what she needs to do, and all the characters compliment her and she compliments the action as well. It's very, very well done throughout. The music, like I said, is again by Tom Holkenberg. There's a lot of repetition in this film. I think they were trying to create some kind of connective tissue, so it's more like Furiosa's music as opposed to Mad Max's music. It would have been nice to hear some different tracks. I would have thought. Again, we do get the Doof Warrior. He does make an appearance, brilliantly so. Like I said, there are a number of cameos. I'm not really going to spoil anything specifically, but the cameos are part and parcel of the story. They're not overexerted cameos. They're not in there to go, oh, look at this, fucking hell, there he is again. There is one in particular, but again, it's not a major plot device. But a lot of these characters are there, but they were from Fury Road. So, this film, where does it rank? It's a difficult one because it is its own beast at the same time. It's its own beast. It's a complementing film to Fury Road. It gives Fury Road a bit more meat underneath what was there. Like I said, Fury Road was just a chase movie with some maddening scenes, and this film gives a bit of credence to some of the characters that were thereabouts, their motivations, their reasons, how they become the way they do, why Furiosa makes the choices she does, how she becomes the Imperator, all of this. So I struggle trying to sort of make connections of how I judge it based on what Fury Road is. So I'm remiss to sort of do that, to be quite honest with you. Nevertheless, I think it is a great film. It's an absolutely great film with much more of emotional heft. Like I said, it doesn't quite match the full throttle fucking nature of Fury Road, but it's a glorious delve into chaotic cinema that's done right, that's done with love and attention to detail right the way across the board. So I think for this, I will quite happily sit there and give this film an 8 out of 10. I think it is a film you need to see at the cinema. It's brash, it's bold, it's colourful, it's bright, it's loud, it's relentless. There is a constant thud, like a heartbeat thud right the way through this film in certain key sections. It's just there underneath, ramping up the tension, ramping up your awareness of everything that's going on. It's really well done. Really, really well done. It doesn't quite hit the heights of Fury Road for me. I think that was almost a flash in the pan kind of movie. It hit the right point. It showed us something we hadn't seen in full-blown carnage for a very long time, if ever. And this film sort of takes that to a next level, adding in that emotional heft, like I said. So 8 out of 10 for me. Really, really enjoyable film. If you liked Fury Road, if you love the Mad Max films, I think you will most definitely like this film. There is definitely something in there to take away from it. Where it goes from here, I don't really know, to be quite honest with you, because I didn't really know where Fury Road would go from there. Obviously, Furiosa has been in the works for a very, very long time, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next, if anything, to be quite honest with you. But there you go. I'm going to leave this review here. A solid 8 out of 10. Furiosa. God, it's a mash on the senses right the way through. Definitely check it out. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Have you seen this film? What did you think about it? Does it hit the heights of Fury Road for you? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. There are some magical mayhem scenes in this film that there's just too much to really talk about, to be quite honest. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please do like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.